Kia ora, good evening. Plans for a bypass around Edendale Township have been a decade in the making, but things look to be finally rolling out. The New Zealand Transport Agency says the bypass, which is in its scheme development stage, will reduce travel times between Invercargill and Gore and create more efficient movements of freights. But one Southland District councillor has his own reasons to welcome the change.
Having heard about the proposal and having had quite some time to think about it, and also our 6 children all went to Edendale School and I was on the Board of Trustees there for several years, I always was concerned that there is a safety potential for something to go wrong there that I think this would alleviate. I think Edendale's been identified as a place where there's a increasing heavy traffic, particularly with the state highway going right through it. Of course, we have the school there with 140 children and safety issues around that, and of course the growing usage or growing milk tanker fleet that's now coming in and out of and accessing the Fonterra site off that highway has certainly changed the dynamics to what perhaps they were 20, 30 years ago.
And do you know if Fonterra's behind pushing this at all?
I think Fonterra are a party that would be talking to people in NZTA and so on through it. I wouldn't know that they're specifically pushing for it, but roading projects throughout the country are proceed or don't proceed based on the issues around them, and this is one that obviously has been identified as having benefits, safety and also traffic flow. So that's what it's gained on its own merits, I guess.
So do you know of any negative impacts?
I don't know of any. I mean, I think townships faced with this are always concerned about missing out on business or visitors to the town. We see other examples around the country, Temuka and other places where these bypasses have been put in. I think the secret is to have reasons why people want to turn off and go to a place. And I think even in Edendale's case now, with the highway now, unless you wanted to turn off and go into Edendale, you would go straight past on the highway. So it's about a place having reasons for people to stop. A lot of our communities are changing, and Edendale is one that certainly has. And from when Edendale grew in the early years, and the school was sited where it was and the dairy factory was sited where it was, no one envisaged that we were going to have a highway going round that corner and carrying the volumes of traffic and the sizes of trucks that we have nowadays. So changing times lead to changing solutions. So I think it's a healthy step forward, and it carries some promise for the future, and the community will turn to flourish from here.
The New Zealand Transport Agency and Fonterra, as the primary landowner and traffic generator, are still working to define which roading plan suits best. It's yet to be determined exactly where the triangular bypass will fit into the existing roading network, but it will be outside the township's 50-kilometre zone. NZTA is hopeful community proposals consultation will be followed by a more formal submission process and land acquisition mid-year, with roading works commencing late 2016 at the earliest. The Community Trust of Southland has hit back at claims that its decision not to write off Rugby Park's debt was unfair and inequitable.
Invercargill City Councillor Karen Arnold spoke out against CTOS, saying they had cleared $800,000 of debt owed by the Southland Indoor Stadium Trust in 2008, but would not do the same for the debt owed by the Southland Outdoor Stadium Trust. CTOS has come back saying its decision was consistent with one it made in 2008 and no debts had ever been written off. Instead, in 2008, an agreement was reached to change the way in which the organisation was funded to include interest and loan repayments. CTOS says they have offered a similar proposal to the stadium's debt, which was turned down by the City Council. The ICC then offered to take on the stadium's debt, which the Community Trust accepted. CTOS says of the 30-plus loan made over the years, none has ever been forgiven.
Retail spending using electronic cards saw a significant increase in February, according to Statistics New Zealand.
Retail spending using electronic cards was up $160 million, or 3.8% for February compared to the same time in 2014. After removing seasonal effects, spending rose in 5 of the 6 retail industries. Hospitality and durables saw the largest rises, while fuel rose for the first time in 3 months. Core retail spending rose 1.2% and the total value of electronic card spending rose 0.4%. This rise follows a 0.1% rise in January of this year.
Record numbers of Kiwis born overseas are registering their citizenship by descent to ensure they have a New Zealand passport when they need to travel.
Over 11,000 overseas-born New Zealanders registered their citizenship by descent with the Department of Internal Affairs last year. Almost two-thirds of these were born in Australia, almost 1,400 were born in the United Kingdom, and the remaining 3,300 in 138 other countries. The Registrar General of Birth, Deaths and Marriages says many Kiwis living overseas may still be unaware of the need to register their children as citizens by descent if they want to travel on a New Zealand passport. More than 63,000 babies are born in New Zealand each year and at least 10,000 are born overseas.
A big blue bus rolled into the city today to answer the wishes of Southland's most dedicated cricketers.
ANZ's Dream Big Bus was in Invercargill dropping off containers full of brand new equipment to some of Southland's biggest cricket fans. ANZ's Field Your Dream promotion has answered the wishes of cricket fans throughout the country in conjunction with the ICC Cricket World Cup, and today was Southland's turn. New equipment was delivered to schools and cricket clubs in Gore, Winton, Invercargill and Te Anau, surprising coaches and players alike.
$6,000 worth of equipment is going to make a huge difference to the club, and so we're very fortunate. The club's been running for 120 years, and at times recently it's been a bit of a struggle to keep the club running, but as you can see around at the moment, there's a real buzz about cricket. The New Zealand cricket team doing really well, and with the World Cup and everything, so we hope that this equipment is going to allow us to sort of build on that and keep some coaching and some keep those junior teams running, and that'll allow us to for the club to flourish.
So new gear is not something that you would get all the time then?
Well, I should take you in to have a look at our club kit, because it looks more like a lost and found than a club kit bag. So this stuff's going to be like it's going to be at a different level than what we're used to.
Do you think that Southland cricket was in real need of this kind of support?
I mean, we've got some amazing facilities. The Queen's Park is just is a wonderful facility, and we've got the indoor nets, which are as good as anything. So they seem to get enough support, but cricket is a game that really requires a lot of money and a lot of manpower. So it's always in need of more, if you like.
And so will the new equipment bring on some, maybe the younger kids to get involved in this?
I've no doubt about that. Yep, this will be. I mean, you take a bit of enthusiasm from the kids, and you give them just that bit of support and that bit of that's something to sort of buy into, and that's when you get the game flourishing. So I think that's exactly what this will do.
Up next on the bulletin, the gender divide on pay and savings, plus random acts of neighbourly kindness. Welcome back. This may come as a surprise, but a worldwide survey has shown a major disparity between men and women when it comes to equal pay and equal opportunities.
Almost 6,000 people were surveyed globally about gender diversity, with results showing women are less likely than their male co-workers to believe pay equality and equal opportunities exist for both genders in the workplace. 18% of men compared to 45% of women think that equally capable male and female colleagues are not paid or rewarded in an equal manner. 21% of men compared to 48% of women do not believe that the same career opportunities are available to all, regardless of gender. The survey results were released yesterday, coinciding with International Women's Day.
Meanwhile, ANZ Investments have released figures that show New Zealand women, on average, are likely to retire with around $60,000 less than men. Nearly 8 years into KiwiSaver, and average balances for women members of the ANZ KiwiSaver scheme were almost 28% lower than men, and the gap is widening. A year ago, the gender saving gap was 26.5%. ANZ estimate women on average are likely to retire with $144,000 compared to $203,000 for men. ANZ suggests the gap may widen further over time, as 85% of women typically take career breaks to raise a family. On average, women live longer and retire earlier, meaning their retirement savings have to stretch further. For the first time, Neighbours Day is coming to Southland and locals are being encouraged to get involved with the act of neighbourliness. It's all about turning strangers into neighbours through random acts of kindness, acts like mowing the neighbour's lawn, giving a friendly smile or wave, or sharing produce from the garden.
Neighbours Day Aotearoa is a national event, so it's an organisation that's got together with several agencies including Inspiring Communities, and they're promoting that people get together with their neighbours on the weekend of the 28th and 29th of March. And so we've put together a little neighbours pack which people can pick up from council buildings right across Southland. The Community Trust have helped us so we can do this for everyone across Southland. And in the little pack you can get balloons, you get a little booklet of ideas and a postcard that you can give to your neighbours to say, thank you for being such a good neighbour, thank you for putting out my wheelie bin. So there's all sorts of suggestions on what you could do to meet your neighbours. It could be as simple as a smile, a wave, it could be bringing in their wheelie bin, it could be inviting them down to the park for a local picnic, whatever. Take the frisbee, throw that around.
So it's beginning just with the touching base with the neighbours, but it could actually become the whole neighbourhood.
It could become the whole neighbourhood, and we're promoting it through our neighbourhood support groups as well, of course, because we have those here in Invercargill. But it could be a small thing, it could be a whole street, it could be a whole neighbourhood. It's whatever is a neighbourhood to you. If you go onto the website, you'll see all the ideas that are suggested that people have registered they're going to do this year. And there's over 1,600 suggestions have been put up there on the website for this year. So picnics are a popular one, but of course it does depend on the day.
Reducing the spread of whooping cough and HPV could be easier with the launch of new online resources. Improving immunisation rates for older children is the focus of a series of new immunisation videos produced by the Ministry of Health, giving students and parents information needed to best protect their health. Children are offered free immunisation at age 11 against tetanus, diphtheria and whooping cough, and for girls at age 12 against HPV. School immunisation programs begin early in the school year, and many Year 7 and 8 students will have brought home new consent forms with the latest information on the safety and effectiveness of the vaccines. And the new videos can be found at health.govt.nz/immunisation. And now it's time to take a look at the weather.
Your forecast on Q is brought to you by Environment Southland. Environment Southland wants to know what you think about our recreational water areas. Where do you go? What do you do? And your thoughts about the water quality. You could win one of 5 $100 vouchers simply by completing their survey. The survey will help them find out whether the water is being tested in the right places and how the service can be improved. Complete the survey online by going to Environment Southland's website or pick up a hard copy from Environment Southland, the Southland District Council, Gore District Council, Invercargill City Council or Public Health South.
And taking a look at the weather for today, Tuesday the 10th of March. The 3 o'clock temperatures around the country, 24 the high for Auckland today and Wellington, Christchurch on 22 along with Dunedin, 20s for Queenstown, Gore, 18 for Invercargill and slightly cooler on Stewart Island with 13 degrees. Reasonably fine conditions with light winds for all of the province tomorrow. A high of 13 again for Half Moon Bay expected tomorrow, 18s for Riverton and Winton. Overnight low of 6 for Invercargill City tonight and 7s for Gore and Tuatapere, climbing to 18 in Gore tomorrow. Te Anau and Queenstown aiming for a high of 21 tomorrow and nightcaps hoping to reach 18 degrees. To the marine forecast for Fovo, variable 10 knots turning easterly 20 knots, southeast swell of 2 metres and moderate sea at times, poor visibility and rain clearing. And for Pusiga, variable 10 knots to easterly 25 knots, southwest swell of 3 metres and sea becoming rough for a time. Looking ahead to the long range forecast, Thursday should be mostly fine with northerly breezes, a period of showers and a southwest change on Friday, then mainly fine with westerly winds and increasing high cloud on Saturday with northwesterlies developing. Tom's along with sport very shortly, but from us, your news team, it's good night.